Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Reading from Chaitanya Bhagavata, Chapter 7, Description of Sri Vishvarup Sannyas and Other Pastimes. Actually, I've tried to read this 3 or 4 times, and I haven't been able to get through it for one reason or another. Sometimes I'm just too tired, it's too late at night to try and read, or there's an interruption, phone or something, and then get called away. So it's not really that late at night, and without hearing these pastimes and hearing the glorification of Krishna and Lord Chaitanya, the mind starts to wander on material activities. So we always have to be hearing, constantly hearing, so that material atmosphere doesn't start to overtake, get the mind all going on material things, sensory input, and then start worrying about this and thinking about that, and this one and that one, and money and health and all these things. We deal with it, but minimally. But by hearing about the pastimes of the Lord, that's the most important thing, because those pastimes are eternal and they're non-different from Krishna. So actually associating with Krishna and hearing is devotional service. So we have to engage in devotional service. In hearing is the most significant one, to hear about Krishna. Hear, chant, remember, offer prayers, worship, 9 different processes. So this is hearing. It's the first one. And if that's all a person can do, is simply hear about Krishna, and they're engaged in devotional service by hearing, become Krishna conscious just by hearing. Okay, description of Sri Vishvarup Sannyas and other pastimes. Glory, glory to Lord Chaitanya, the master of all masters. Glory, glory to the devotees who dearly love Lord Vishvambar. Glory, glory to the son of Sachi and Jagannath Mishra, a son who is the life of everyone. O Lord, with a glance of mercy, please rescue all the souls in this world. In this way, Lord Chaitanya was manifest in Navadvip, pretending to be a child. He enjoyed many pastimes. The Lord was always mischievous to everyone. His mother tried to teach him, but he would not pay attention. When he was taught, he would do twice as much mischief. Whatever he could reach in the house, he would break. Anxious, his parents would not tell him anything, and completely independent, he happily played. The words of Adi-Khanda, which describe the pastimes of Lord Narayan enjoyed as a child, are like a stream of nectar. The Lord was not afraid of his father, his mother, or anyone else. Still, when he saw his elder brother Vishvarup, he became humble. The Lord's elder brother Vishvarup was the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, and from birth he was renounced. He was a treasure house of all virtues. Commenting on the scriptures, he taught that all scriptures describe Vishnu Bhakti, devotional service to Lord Vishnu. No one had the power to break his explanations. He engaged his ears, voice, mind, and all his senses in Krishna Bhakti, devotional service to Lord Krishna. He did not hear or speak of anything else. Seeing his younger brother's mischief, Vishvarup was filled with wonder in his heart. He thought, the boy is not like a resident of the material world. His forms and deeds are like those of child Krishna. Again and again he does what human beings cannot. I think he is Lord Krishna, manifest as a child and enjoying pastimes. Saintly Vishvarup thought in this way. Still, he did not reveal the truth. He remained engrossed in his own activities. He always stayed among the Vaishnavas, and he spoke of Krishna, was devoted to Krishna, and happily worshipped Krishna. The whole material world is mad after money, children, material education, and whenever they saw him, the materialists would mock the Vaishnavas. Seeing the Vaishnavas, they would recite doggerel verses. Sannyasis, yogis, and faithful wives must all die in the end. I say the word fortunate means a person who rides on a horse, or a person who rides on a palanquin, or a person who has 10 or 20 servants running ahead and behind. You Vaishnavas weep tears of love for your Lord. Tears do not break your poverty and misery. Again and again you scream, Hari, Hari. Your Lord will become angry when he hears you screaming like that. Hearing words like these from the non-devotees, the great devotees became very unhappy. They did not hear Krishna Katha anywhere or Krishna Kirtan. They saw that at every moment everyone was burning in the fire of repeated birth and death. Not hearing the descriptions of Lord Krishna Chandra that he yearned to hear, Lord Vishwarup became very unhappy. If sometimes someone gave a lecture explaining Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, descriptions of Krishna Bhakti, devotional service to the Lord, would never appear in his tongue. Speaking illogically, all the teachers became like walking corpses. Materialists do not know the meaning of the words like bhakti, devotional service. When they saw the illogical ideas of the people in general, Advaitacharya and the other devotees wept. In his heart, Vishwarupa unhappily thought, I will not look at the faces of these people. I will go to the forest. Every morning Vishwarupa would first bathe in the Ganga and then visit Advaita's home. When he heard Vishwarupa explain that Krishna Bhakti, devotional service to Lord Krishna, is the true meaning of all scriptures, Advaita would roar with pleasure. When Vishwarupa arrived, Advaita would stop his deity worship and at once embrace him. All the Vaishnavas would happily say, Hari, Hari, and filled with the bliss of Krishna consciousness, the devotees roared like lions. No longer were there any sadness in their hearts. No one would leave Vishwarupa and return home. Neither would Vishwarupa return to his home. When she had finished cooking, Sachi said to Lord Vishwambar, Go to your elder brother and bring him home at once. Thus, on the pretext of his mother's request, the Lord went to fetch his brother at Advaita's home. When the Lord came, he saw the Vaishnavas were talking about the auspicious topics of Lord Krishna. Hearing that they were talking about him, Lord Chaitanya glanced at them with charming and auspicious eyes. Each of his limbs rested on the peerless summit of his handsomeness and grace. 10 million moons could not equal the glory of even one of his toenails. Clothed by only the 4 directions, and his every limb covered with dust, the Lord smiled and said to his elder brother, Brother, please come to eat, mother calls. Clutching his elder brother's garment, the Lord departed. Motionless, the devotees gazed at the Lord's charming form. The devotees were entranced. Words about Krishna no longer came to their mouths. Gazing at the Lord, the devotees forgot their own identities. Without knowing how, the devotees found that their hearts had been stolen. The non-devotees cannot understand how the Lord steals his devotees' hearts. This secret truth was revealed in Srimad Bhagavatam, where King Parikshit heard it from Sukadeva Goswami. To learn the secret, one should listen to the words of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a conversation between Sukadeva Goswami and King Parikshit, a conversation that has no equal. When Lord Chaitanya was born in Gokula, he wandered from home to home, enjoying pastimes with the other boys. From the time of the Lord's birth, the gopis loved the Lord more than their own sons. Even though they did not understand that he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, they naturally loved Krishna more than their own sons. Filled with wonder when he heard this, the hairs of his body standing up on end, King Parikshit asked Sukadeva Goswami, O Goswami, The words you have spoken are most wonderful. I've never heard anything like them in all the three worlds. I see that they loved Krishna, who was another's son, more than they loved their own sons. Why did they love Krishna more? Please tell me. Sri Sukadeva Goswami replied, O King Parikshit, please listen. The all-pervading Supersoul is most dear to everybody. That should be known. When the soul is no longer present in the body of a son or a wife, in a moment the relatives take the body out of the house. It is the Supersoul who gives life to all, who is the most treasured of all. The Supersoul is Lord Krishna, the son of Nanda. Therefore, because Krishna is the origin of the Supersoul, the gopis love Krishna more than their own sons. This is true for the devotees, but not for the non-devotees. The non-devotees in this world do not love Krishna. One may ask, why do Kamsa and other demons try to kill Krishna? The answer is, previous offenses are the cause of those actions. Sugar's sweet, that everyone knows. If someone tastes it as bitter, the reason is that his tongue is at fault. The tongue is at fault, the sugar is not at fault. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Chaitanya, is the sweetest of all. Although everyone in Navadvip saw Lord Chaitanya, aside from the devotees, no one knew his real identity. The Lord completely stole the devotees' hearts. In this way, the king of Vaikuntha enjoyed pastimes in Navadvip. After thus enchanting the hearts of all the Vaishnavas, Lord Vishvambar returned with his elder brother. In his heart, saintly Advaita thought, that boy is not a human being. He's not a resident of the material world. Advaita told all the Vaishnavas, I do not understand for certain what is the true identity of that boy. All the devotees praised the handsomeness of that wonderful boy. In name only did Vishwarup go home. He quickly returned to Advaita's house. Material happiness did not bring pleasure to Vishwarup's heart, where the bliss of Krishna Kirtan always stayed. When he was home, Vishwarup stayed always in the room that was a Vishnu temple. He hardly ever went to the other rooms. When his parents began to make plans for his marriage, Vishwarup became very unhappy at heart. I must renounce the world, Vishwarup decided in his heart. I must go to the forest, was the only thought in his heart. It kept him awake at night. Only the Supreme Personality of Godhead can truly understand the desires that stay in the Supreme Personality of Godhead's heart. After a few days, Vishwarup accepted sannyas. In this world he was known by the name Shankaranya. The best of the Vaishnavas, he walked on the path that leads to the limitless Supreme Person. When saintly Vishwarup left, the hearts of Sachi and Jagannath Mishra burst into flames. The Lord and his parents loudly wept. Tormented by separation from his brother, Lord Chaitanya fell unconscious. I do not have the power to place on my mouth words that describe the torment of separation. Jagannath Mishra's home became filled with weeping. Seeing that Vishwarup had accepted sannyas, Advaita and the other Vaishnavas wept again and again. When they heard this news, the upper class and middle class non-devotees did not respond in the same way. Hearing this news, they were not overcome with grief. Their hearts broke, and Sachi and Jagannath Mishra cried, Vishwarup, Vishwarup. Jagannath Mishra was overcome with grief for his son. His relatives and friends tried to console him. They said, "O Jagannath Mishra, please be peaceful. Don't be unhappy at heart. Your son's a great soul who has brought liberation to his entire family. When a person accepts sannyas, then 60 million of his family members go to live in Vaikuntha. By acting in this way, your son has attained the perfection of knowledge. You should be very happy." Speaking these words, everyone grasped the hands and feet of Sachi and Jagannath Mishra. They said, "Your Vishvambar is the ornament of the family. This son will continue your dynasty. He will destroy all your sufferings. How can 10 million sons compare to this son?" All the relatives and friends explained the truth in this way. Still, Jagannath Mishra's suffering did not break. Thinking of these instructions, Jagannath Mishra became peaceful, and then when he remembered Vishwarup's virtues, he forgot all about being peaceful.